Hello, and welcome to the Mad Painter Show. Okay, have you ever, like me, have been watching a movie and you need to do something, and as soon as it gets to the good part, you gotta pause it? I'm sorry, I just had to do that because I just thought it was I couldn't pass it up. But you know, when it gets good and you have to pause it because you don't want to miss the good part. So you pause it so you could go do, that's one issue I have with going to the movie theater. But so you can go do and whatever it is that you need to do and then come back. And why do we do that? So we don't miss the good parts. So we have to consider sometimes as our life like a movie. You gotta take a pause so that you don't miss the good parts. Now, what is the purpose of going about doing these pauses? Well, one, we don't want to miss the good parts in our life. And how do we go about not missing the good parts in our life? It's about bringing awareness of what's going on here, what's going on in this area, since it was kind of low in the heart area, and what's going on in our environment. And so when we go about bringing awareness to these things, we are bringing awareness to how we're thinking and how we're feeling. And these other elements play a part in those thinking and feeling departments. So sometimes when you're having a conversation, somebody is wanting to ask you something, or you're in need of being pressured to make a decision. What do? Well, sometimes you have to ask that question. Well, what am I going to do? And do you know what it takes for you to ask that question? Taking a pause. So sometimes, you have to just step back. I watch a lot of superhero movies, and one of those people, or like Matrix or something like that, and it's either being able to move so fast that everything else is moving so slow that it seems like it pauses, or just being able to let life go on and do whatever it needs to do while you just take a moment and reflect. Take a moment and think. Take a moment and consider what is really happening right now. So we've talked about all these different things as far as an awareness of the mind and habits. Well, we're aware of what our bad habits are. And part of being aware of what our bad habits are is by indication of us being tired of certain results from things, or us being tired and how we feel about something. And that's going to create a change. And in making that change, where this is part of making that change, is discussing a good habit. And a good habit is learning when to take that pause. So when a lot of times when we are living our lives, people say things happen, and we're quick to react. The purpose of taking these pauses is so that we can get out of the habit of reacting so quick to somebody makes us angry, so we say something or we do something, we retaliate. That's not necessary. Taking a pause allows us to, we were talking about the whole reaping what we sow. Well, I was talking about in the last video. At least, was I? I don't know. Look at the last one and see what we was talking about. But in thinking about our minds, and in thinking about in a place and where we are looking to put our minds and put our minds in purposeful thinking. If we are going off into the past, going off into the deep end, and I mean, if you're not thinking about your past as far as in reflection and how we can go about moving forward, you need not be thinking about it. But if you're thinking about your past where it's causing you to be angry or depressed, this is not purposeful thinking. So in getting in the habit of reflecting and getting in the habit of taking time out to consider what it is that we should be doing, that is the purpose of that pause. Using pause moments and making those pause moments a habit, because we don't want to miss the good parts in our life. And in taking these pauses, we're allowed to, I'm sorry, my mind was just totally going off, and it was so many words coming, and it's like a layered thing. And I have to start off at the foundation because I don't want to jump too far ahead. But we are purposely working our minds and how they are to be working. If we are thinking on the negative, we are misusing the purpose. You have a hammer. You are getting ready to eat Thanksgiving dinner. And you have plates and you have everything else, but all you have is a hammer. I mean, a tool could be used to F some stuff up if that's what we wanted to do, but is that gonna help us with eating and what, cause I stay hungry. So it's like, is the hammer really gonna help us succeed in eating and passing out this food? And no. So we wanna know the tools to use that are gonna be more purposeful for our life, and in taking those pauses. So along with taking the pauses and taking a break, when we're taking breaks and taking breathers, we're taking a pause from life. We're taking a pause from all these things that are happening in our lives, and taking a pause to gain peace. And in gaining that peace, we are also gaining wisdom. And every day we are seeking wisdom in the places of those pauses. Because as we're living and when those pauses occur in real life, remember what I was saying as far as in stuff happens so fast, and then you're able to, as far as the superhero stuff, they were able to move so fast that the other people seemed as if they were moving so slow because this other person, like Flash, he was moving so fast. Well, as you gain wisdom, the more you input this wisdom and willing to apply the wisdom in these pauses, this wisdom is going to pop back up. So what I paid attention to, what I paid attention to is that some things in life we aren't always willing to learn so fast, or sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to learn the lesson. And in these things, I've learned that even though gaining wisdom may be a slow process, it is something that is daily changing your life, because you may not be able to see the result of wisdom at the moment that you start studying. But as you go into studying wisdom on a daily on a daily journey, you start to see how those words of wisdom replace those words of negativity, those words of ignorance, those words of lower level desire. Because along with these pauses and along with our awareness of self, we have to understand the difference between our lower level desires and our higher level desires. A higher level desire serves a higher purpose than just us. Our lower level desire serves, it's all about us. Everything is selfish. But along with serving lower desires, your lower desires have an ability to rise to higher desires, but it still stays on the negative, selfish perspective. If everything is all about you, with all of the stuff that's going on in the world, everywhere, and if people are constantly looking at me, we'll never get anything done. And actually, if you're only focused on you, you'll only be able to go so far, because man is not an island. And once you understand that actually even you too, I don't care how narcissistic you are, you didn't come in this world alone. You needed your mom and your dad, a test tube, some semen, an egg. However you came into this mofo, you needed something other than yourself. So in taking these pauses, we need time to reflect, to understand our higher selves, our higher purpose, the greatness within. All of this time we go into studying and learning in school and in TV and whatever, who all of these people who society think is someone great. Yeah, that's awesome and wonderful, because there are a lot of great people who have inspired me. And at the same time, learn the greatness within. And it takes time to sit down, take a pause, seek these things out, Think about these things. Reflect on these things. You are great and you have greatness within. Recognize what that is. Seek it out. Take a pause, baby. We all need to take a pause and sometimes take a break. Take a breather. Not be so pressured to react or to respond. There's benefit in those pauses because, hey, we don't want to miss the good parts. Be great, my good people.